Hi everyone, my name is Chelsea. Welcome to Little Mountain Ranch. I'm happy to have you here with me in my kitchen this morning. I am just getting ready to make some breakfast for my family, and I'm going to make a variation on my baked oatmeal I shared with you last week, I think, which was a cherry almond baked oatmeal, which is one of our favorites, but the kids requested some apple cinnamon baked oatmeal today, and one of them asked if I could make a caramel sauce to go on the top. So usually we'll have either brown sugar or maple syrup on the top of it. So I thought adding a caramel sauce, or he thought adding a caramel sauce would make it even yummier. So we are going to do that. We are going to have all kinds of background noise going on today. Dan is working down in the basement and my entire family is home. I usually try to film videos when everybody is either not home or otherwise occupied, but that did not work out for today, which is totally fine. I know that you guys don't mind hearing things going on in the background. So we are going to get all of our apples cored and chopped up. We usually have breakfast late on Saturdays and Sundays, so it's okay that we're going to run a little bit late this morning. Doing this kitchen renovation project here on YouTube and bringing you kind of along with it has been so much fun for me, because I've had so many great suggestions that we are actually going to end up implementing in this renovation. The color that is on the shelves was chosen by one of you, and I absolutely love it so much. We're also going to be doing the butcher block countertop. So as you can see, I have butcher block here, and we're going to be bringing that all the way around this area. And the way that we are going to get away or around the issue of a lot of moisture around the wooden countertop around the sink is, and this was a suggestion from one of you, is to put a farmhouse sink in here, but one that has drain boards on either side, or at least on one side of it. And I think that's going to work really well, and it's going to look beautiful. And the other thing we're going to do is put a molding around the top of these upper cabinets, which I think will look really, really lovely. And I think 2 or 3 of you at least have sent me emails with cabinet suggestions for the cabinet that we want to put over here, the tall cabinet to be able to put some of my pretty things in beside the stove here. I'll show you a picture of one of my favorite ones that was sent to me from a viewer in, I think it's Saskatchewan. She was telling me that one of her sons is actually a cabinet maker. And Dan and I got to talking about how challenging it's probably going to be to find a cabinet that is narrow enough, because that's only a 22-inch space, beside the stove there. So finding an antique, which is what I was hoping to find, an antique cabinet for that's that narrow is probably going to be pretty challenging. So in the end, we'll likely end up having to either build something ourselves or have something built for that space. But either way, thank you all so much for all of your suggestions for this space, because it's actually made it fun to kind of bring you in on the project. Several people did mention that they thought it might darken up the space too much, because the countertop is mostly white and it reflects a lot of the light, to put this, a darker butcher block like this over there. So one of the things I'm going to do today to double check and see whether that's going to be an issue or not is to move this countertop. So the countertop right here is not actually affixed to the cabinets below just yet. We are planning on doing that, but it's not. So we can actually lift this up and bring it over here. It is very wide, so it's going to hang out way farther than the countertop will, but it will give us all a visual to see whether that is going to be the case, if it'll darken it up too much. I don't think it will, but rather than spending the money and then finding out that mistake later, we have the benefit of being able to actually use this countertop here to over on that spot. So we'll do that once we have this baked oatmeal actually in the oven. So I'm just going to get all of these chopped up into just little cubes and throw them in our bowl here. One of the other things we're doing today is getting all the Canadian cookbooks packaged up and mailed off. It took a lot longer to get our packages up here, our packages of cookbooks, than it did last time. So I apologize for the fact that for those of you that did orders from Canada, that your books are a little bit later than I was hoping. Most of the people that ordered from the US should already have their cookbooks, or should by early this coming up week. What we're actually going to do moving forward with our cookbook sales is we're going to keep a stock of them so that we can just have orders all the time, and we'll just do shipping out once a week. And that way we don't have to risk this late shipping happening again. Okay, so we have our apples. Whoops, missed a slice there. So we're gonna sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon onto our apples and get that all mixed in there. And then we'll rinse our fingers off, and we're gonna do 6 cups of old-fashioned rolled oats. My favorite measuring cup. It's up to, I don't know if you can see in there, but it's up to 6 cups. Fantastic for big batch cooking. And 1 cup of all-purpose flour or whole wheat flour if you'd like. 1 cup of brown sugar. Okay, you could also, if you would rather, you could use maple syrup, you could use honey, you could use cane sugar if you'd like. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. I do not have any eggs this morning, so our hens are starting to get to the end of their laying cycle, and I don't have a light hooked up in there right now. Normally, if I set a light for 12 to 14 hours, or even up to 16 hours of light, artificial light, they'll continue to lay throughout the winter, but I haven't done that. So I just texted my neighbor to see if she had any eggs, and she does have a dozen eggs. So I'm gonna be able to go over and grab those from her. One of the perks of living in a rural neighborhood where everybody has chickens. Yeah, that looks wonderful. I love the arch over the top. That looks really nice. Nice job. Looks good.
I did another test.
So this is how we have them all packaged up. Isn't that cute? Okay, I'm just gonna run over to my neighbors and grab some eggs. I'll be back with you shortly. Thank goodness for good neighbors, my friends. We're really lucky we have fantastic neighbors in our area. So I have added 4 eggs and 4 cups of milk and a 1/4 cup of butter, melted butter to this. I'm gonna add a splash of vanilla as well. Okay, let's give this a good mix here. Put this into our buttered baking trays over here, and we'll pop these in the oven and bake them, and while they're baking we'll make some caramel sauce. I'm roasting up another one of those giant turkeys, and we weighed it last night and it was 28.6 pounds, so a nice sized turkey, and that has been slow roasting all night, and I'm planning on canning that. At least I think I'm going to can it up. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with it yet. With all of the turkey broth that I made out of the bones from the last turkey that I roasted a couple of days ago, I made a giant turkey stew with it. We had that for dinner last night, and we're going to have it for dinner or for lunch today, and I think I am going to make up some buns or something to go with it. I haven't quite decided yet. So we're going to use around a cup of butter and get that melted. I'm going to add a little bit of cinnamon to our caramel, some vanilla, some cream, a little bit of a cream line there, so we'll use some of that. And I just wanted to show you what I do with my eggshells. I put my eggshells in a container like this, and then I mash them down and feed them back to my chickens, and that there's a lot of calcium in those eggshells, and that helps for nice strong eggshells, and it seems to work quite well. I used to feed my chickens oyster shells for the same reason, but I don't know who turned me on to this many years ago. While that butter is heating up, I think we're gonna get started on some buns to go with our stew this morning. So we'll do 4 cups of water. So this is just going to be a simple bun recipe, and I'm just kind of winging it. 4 cups of water, a couple teaspoons of yeast, around a 1/4 cup of honey, We'll add some white flour in there, some stone ground flour, a couple teaspoons of salt, 1/4 cup of olive oil, throw in a couple eggs. So I'm going to get that mixing together and go fill up my flour and add our remaining flour. Our butter is almost melted. So we're going to add around a cup of brown sugar, little shake of cinnamon. So we're going to wait until this starts bubbling away. And then once it gets to the thickness that I want, I'll pull it off the heat, let it cool a little bit, and add some cream and vanilla, and a little pinch of salt too. So you notice when you're making caramel that it takes a while for the butter and the sugar to fully blend. Just be patient with it. It's tempting to add more sugar to it, but don't, because once it starts oiling, it will start to combine. This is really good on ice cream. If you slice up bananas on vanilla ice cream and then drizzle some of this on top, it is delicious. So that is what I'm looking for. I'm gonna pull it off the heat and let it cool for a minute. Okay, so we have our caramel there. Looks pretty good, hey?
You saved $11 doing that.
Oh, that's wonderful. So we're going to add a little splash of vanilla to this, a little pinch of salt, some nice thick cream, and there we go. Some beautiful caramel sauce. Now we'll continue on with our bread over here. And now we'll add our remaining flour to our buns over here. Caramel sauce is delicious. So there we go. We're going to let this rise for an hour in a greased bowl. That looks and smells so good. It is time to scoop a little bit of this up and try it. It smells so good. Smells amazing. I am going to add a little bit of milk to mine and some caramel sauce. If you want to make a delicious breakfast that your kids are going to absolutely love, I would highly recommend this. It is so, so good. My kids are going to think they've died and gone to heaven. This is delicious. I think this may be my favorite baked oatmeal that I've ever made. So the breakfast was a huge hit. The kids said it was delicious. So now we are going to get our buns put together here. So this has been rising for just around an hour or so. Just to make this easier on myself, I am going to wipe my counter off, roll this out, and I'm just going to cut my buns to size. Just about done. We're gonna let these rise for around 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes. And then we'll bake them at 350 for around 15 to 20 minutes or so. I would like you to know, although I'm sure that it is obvious if you've been here for a while, that I may be kind of the face of Little Mountain Ranch here, sharing everything on our channel, but our whole entire family is involved with what we do here behind the scenes. We just choose not to have our family and our children on our channel. No judgment for anybody that makes a different choice than us, but that's just our choice. But it is very much a family affair over here. Okay, we're gonna set our timer now, and now we'll finish up with the kitchen clean. Ready to put our buns into the oven. What you making over here?
Burger patties and veggies.
Sounds yummy.
Matt's own recipe.
Just putting a little butter on top to keep the tops nice and soft. So I am absolutely addicted to this caramel sauce. It is really good. So I'm going to put this in a pint jar and put it in the fridge and use it up over the next couple of days. Whew, those are hot. Turned out pretty good. We'll see how they taste when they have a chance to cool off a little bit. And now I have to convince my husband to come over here and help me move this over there so that we can get a visual and see how it looks. Oh, honey, can you come over here for a minute, please? See, it was a good idea, right? Because we can actually see. So obviously this is sticking out way more than it will. But the height's awesome. So I was sharing in the last video that we are going to put this on top of the old countertop because I'm tall. And I find working on this one, even though it's only a couple inch difference compared to the one, the island that we made taller, actually does affect my back. So it'll be sitting up like this. And then it's gonna have the white subway tiles on the back. I'm not sure, it is darker, isn't it? Okay, a couple of people had said that because we live in a log house where the walls are obviously already wood and already darker, that it might be too dark. And now that I see it like this, I feel like that could be the case. I mean, we could change out and go with like a light pine there, because there are lighter butcher block ones, aren't there? Yeah, it's too much wood either way. Yeah, I agree. So there we go. So we were thinking that yes, indeed, we were going to do butcher block countertops, but now that I see the butcher block countertop on there, I'm actually not a fan. What do you guys think? Dan and I are both feeling like it's too dark. I think it is. I like it. Like, it's pretty. It looks pretty, but it is dark. And so the whole reason why I changed out the color of the cabinets underneath is to brighten it up. And this kind of defeats that purpose. And it sure changes the way the color looks, doesn't it? So now we're back to the drawing board because this isn't going to work. It works just fine over here where the island is. But yeah, not here. Okay, the reason that the countertop is not screwed on is because we're not actually finishing the base of the island. We repurposed the cabinets that were, this used to go this way, right here. And it was right here. So it made the kitchen really small. But we decided to just repurpose it, and we're going to put shiplap around the outside of it. So we haven't gotten around to doing that yet. That's why this isn't screwed on. Okay. Putting this here, yeah, it looks really nice there. I also wanted to share with you why we're not painting the upper cabinets green as well. So our living room, which I'll take you over here so that you can see what I mean. When we're sitting in our living room, the white cabinets allow us to do whatever colors we want over here. Whereas if they were green, we would have to coordinate the colors in the living room because this is all kind of one big open space to go with that. And one more thing, the reason that we have this over here and not here or a different island or any type of island here at all is because our kitchen most of the time has a constant flow of people coming in and out of it, and having this way really blocked the flow into the kitchen. So I personally really like the configuration of this. But maybe when we go to town later, we can stop in and, oh, if they're open, we could stop in and look and see what kind of countertops are available. I don't want to do anything super fancy or anything that's going to cost a ton of money, because we're kind of looking at getting another 5 years out of our kitchen. So we definitely want to keep it kind of budget friendly. So let's try one of our buns. They look good. And they taste good too. That is a darn good dinner roll. So we're going to set these aside, and we'll have them with our turkey stew. The last thing that I need to do is to get that turkey that I cooked up canned. I actually have it sitting outside right now to cool off. So I'll probably wait and do that a little bit later on this evening. So I'll be back with you again when we get to that project. All right, friends, we are back at it. I am just skinning my turkey now. I just set it outside so it had a chance to cool off. And now we are going to cut it up into little bits or little, I don't know, cubes. We'll see what we do. Wow, this is a big breast. Oh my goodness. So the plan here is we're going to can all of this turkey meat, and then we will cook down these bones and make some more broth. So I know I said I wasn't going to do any more canning, and I really wasn't planning on it, but I don't have the freezer space for this turkey, so I would rather have it go into cans, of course, or jars, rather than have it to go to waste. So this will probably just do 1 canner worth, I think, but then we'll be able to fill this whole stock pot back up with water with these bones, and then make a bunch of stock as well. What you looking for, guys?
More backing.
Oh, is that one out too? That printer's out of ink?
No, that printer has a different.
Oh, I see. Are you out like completely?
No, but it said it's very.
I get a massage while I'm canning. That sounds good to me. Oh,
We couldn't find more ink, but we did find more tape, so.
oh, that's good.
Well, it's just at Staples, that's unfortunate.
They tried to, yeah, they tried to call, but they didn't catch you before you came back. So you can see I have around 2 inches of water in the bottom of my pressure canner. Just a teaspoon of salt per quart, and then we'll top these off with water. Okay, so now I'm just gonna debubble our jars here. Add a little bit more water to my other ones. Okay, so now we're just gonna wipe off the top of our rim. Even though this isn't anything sticky, we're not wiping it for that reason. I do it for 2 reasons. 1, to check to see if there's any chips. It's easier to feel it with my finger than it is to see it with the naked eye. And also there may be some little bits of actual meat stuck on there. So give these a wash, get them lidded up, put them in our canner. We'll let it vent for 10 minutes, and then we're going to do this for 15 pounds of pressure for 90 minutes. Okay, now we need our lid. Line up your arrow on your canner. This is an all-American pressure canner with a little groove. And then I like to put these in across from each other. And you do want to do these up nice and tight. And then I'm going to crank the heat up on this. And then when the steam starts coming out of our little vent pipe here, we're going to set the timer for 10 minutes. And then once it has vented for 10 minutes, we'll put our weight on. And the weight looks like this for those that are new to pressure canning. And it has 5, 10, and 15 pounds of pressure on it. And for our elevation, we're gonna do 15 pounds of pressure. Okay, now I'm gonna grab our stew and get that heating up on the stove. And remember, we're gonna have the leftover turkey stew I made yesterday with the buns. That I made earlier. I just wanted to show you the turkey soup that I made. So it's a very, very simple soup with the bone broth that I made, a whole bunch of turkey, carrots, potatoes, onions, and then herbs. Super simple, super nourishing, and super delicious. So we're gonna have that with some of the buttered dinner rolls for dinner tonight, and I think it's going to be absolutely delicious. This canner is going to take 90 minutes, and then we will take it out, and hopefully by tomorrow around noon we'll put these on the pantry shelves, and then that will be it. We are actually filming our pantry tour in the morning. I am so excited about it. We will be sharing the pantry tour with you on the 10th at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we are going to do a premiere, so Dan and I will be in the chat box if you have any questions for us. I hope that you enjoyed today's video, everyone, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.